it's just the fact that so many of us have been indoctrinated into thinking that it's radical far left, that people can be murdered in the street by police officers and there'll be no accountability, and that we shouldn't even expect an indictment or an investigation that is thorough or anything like that, that we've expected miscarriage of justice. You're radical far left. You're radical far left if you think there should be real accountability there. Not just banning a chokehold here, but that people should go to jail for intentionally, where we see are killing other people negligently, or what have you. Remedial things beyond that. I know I try to read in abolitionist work, and I always struggle with those frameworks as well, because we've all been kind of indoctrinated to think about what is radical or too far. But meanwhile, the reality that we are living in right now is radical. We are living in this radical reality of conservatism and this radical, conservative and corporate norm. And that's what's radical. Letting people die because they can't afford insulin when the original patent for insulin was $1, that's radical. That's radical to me. That's destructive radicalism to me. Having a global pandemic and choosing to not cover people's health care, that's radical to me. That's radically wrong to me. Paying people $7 an hour when not a single person who can really afford to live in a home on 40 hours, on a full-time job, 7 hours a week, and you don't have help from mom or dad or, whatever, you didn't inherit the home that you live in, paying $7 an hour in the richest country in the world, which is not enough for people to eat, sleep safely, that's radical to me. That's radical. So you're not radical if you believe in a living wage. You're not radical if you believe that healthcare is a human right and that we should guarantee it to everybody. And I'm not talking about health insurance. Let me make that very clear. I'm talking about health care. I'm not talking about you should have the right to pay for frankly, I'm trying not to curse. I'm not saying you should have the right to pay for a raggedy bronze plan that doesn't cover the health care that you need. I'm talking about you should be able to walk into a doctor with your health concern, get treatment, get a diagnosis, and not be scared that you're going to have to mortgage your life or choose between rent and medicine. So you're not radical if you believe that that's something that we should have as a modern society. It's not even like we're trying to go to space in the 1960s, right? I wish that we could have this, this mentality that, and this pride that people have. I wish that the United States is cutting edge and number one in everything, that we do everything in a way that no other country has done before. I'm just trying to catch up to some civilized other societies that actually care for each other. We're not even trying to be the first to guarantee healthcare in their country. We're not even trying to say the United States is super ambitious and we should establish the first guaranteed healthcare policy in the world. No, we're already behind. We're already behind. And we need to catch up to the rest of the world. And if we want to take pride in leading the pack, then that means we need to lead the pack. And leading the pack means Medicare for all. It means need. You get a diagnosis, you're able to get that assistance. And when people say, oh my gosh, like, you have to think about how people wait in other countries. First of all, many of those claims are very over-exaggerated. But second of all, how long do you wait to go to the doctor because you don't think you can afford it? How many of you all have waited 5 years to go to the dentist because you're scared that it's going to cost $2,000 and you don't have $2,000? So our system is already a system where people self-select themselves into multi-year wait lists because they know they can't afford it. They know they can't afford getting that root canal or getting your tooth pulled that's hurting you, that it ends up costing more and more money the longer we wait because we can't afford it in the short. We can't afford the $500 in the short term, so we're going to have to pay the $2,000 in the long term, right? That's a system that doesn't make sense. And by the way, a guaranteed healthcare system is cheaper than what we're doing right now. Cheaper than what we're doing right now. So anyways, shout out to my fellow radicals in the United States who believe crazy things like a full-time job should be enough for you to live, and also, believe in crazy radical things like if you kill someone, there shouldn't be impunity, and also who believe really crazy radical things like you should get a stimulus check without having to bail out a corporation for it, or that you should get a stimulus check without your employer, if you work for one of these huge conglomerate employers, sending you into harm's way and being completely immune from any accountability for that. Shout out to my fellow radicals who think that, we should live in a humane, advanced society, and that we shouldn't be under the thumb of a $7 minimum wage and, racist systems because that just benefits whoever the people are empowered to already be empowered. So, shout out to my radicals.